Welcome everyone to Mail Fuzz Movie News. I am Peter, and joining me, not as always, I almost said that as if I do when I'm talking about Screams or comics from the multiverse. Tara's here, everyone.
Hello. I'm here like 60% of the time.
My co-host from the Atomic Cinema Experiment, and this is the first news on the new Mail Fuzz Movies channel, so welcome if you have migrated over. Not much is changing in the news format. It just means that the TV section is not attached to this. It'll be on its own on the other channel.
That means these will be shorter.
It does, yeah, potentially.
Yay.
So last week was kind of weird because people might notice that it's been like over a week, maybe even a full week and a half since the last time there was a news episode. And that's not because, like, 'cause sometimes when there's a bit of a gap, it's because, maybe there wasn't time to record, there was other things to do or something. There genuinely was like almost a full week of there just not been enough interesting news to make a news episode out of. It's only really been maybe right at the end of the week and then the first couple of days of this week that's actually given us a couple of things to talk about. But I mean, there's a bunch here, don't get me wrong. There was always little things piling up a little, but there was no headlines. There was nothing that I could name the video, right? I need something that I can name the video. And unfortunately, what I can headline the video with this episode is Rob Zombie's doing a Munsters movie.
Cool. Does he do comedy?
Apparently this has been a passion project. He's been wanting to do Munsters for years. Are you familiar? Have you ever watched the Munsters or any?
Munsters is a great show. It's an old sitcom that, is kind of Addams Family-esque.
Yeah, I never saw the original sitcom, but I did see there was a couple of, I think they were TV movies, but there was a couple of movies they made in the 90s, I think, that were like,
yeah,
they weren't black and white, they were like color movies, but I remember seeing them as a kid and enjoying them for what they were.
They're actually very similar to like the Hotel Transylvania films. Just a bunch of monsters and there's like one normal person. Yeah. Who's part of the family.
So, I mean, yeah, we're going to get lighthearted. Unless Rob Zombie's not going to do it, unless he's actually just going to make this into a Rob Zombie movie in which he's going to be
like dark and gritty and grimy, sweaty.
And you're going to want to take a shower afterwards.
Yeah, everyone's covered in oil and dirt for some reason.
Yeah, the wife will be played by Sherry Moon Zombie, and she will have her boobs out like half the movie. It's weird that he does that, isn't it? It's weird that he always casts his wife and makes her take her clothes off. I guess.
I don't think he makes her. I'm sure there's some consent involved.
I'm sure. I'm cool if she's game for it. I just mean it's weird. It's a weird. Like he's always casting her as a stripper or something. It's just odd.
It says, "Hey, check out what I got."
And he seems to be trying his best to grow the Alan Moore beard. He wants that wizard's beard. But yes, so this is for Universal 1440 Entertainment, which apparently means it's probably going to be on Peacock. So is this going straight to Peacock, or is it not a theater release? I guess we'll find out.
I don't know. They have a new show on Peacock that's like original, straight to there.
Oh no, they definitely have Peacock originals. But I don't think I was aware of any movies that were original Peacock shit. But I mean, I guess in time, I mean, Netflix, Amazon, and HBO Max are doing original movies, so why not Peacock?
They've paved the way. This is the standard now. This is what people expect.
Yes. And if Peacock's the one that chooses to support Rob Zombie's filmmaking, then Peacock's the one I choose to shun. Oh, I hate his movies. I really do. I swear, Rob Zombie.
I like the Munsters. It's a shame that if it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this will be a different side of him that we've never seen before, because it is a very different property. But Rob Zombie, Zack Snyder, and like Tim Burton. That's like my holy trinity of evil. I want no part of any of them. But yeah, so yes. The original sitcom ran in 1964 to 1966 on NBC, chronicled the family of different monsters living together. It became a favourite during syndication in the late 80s, early 90s, and there was an 80s and 90s version, yeah. So, Yeah, maybe that's what I saw some of. Maybe there was a newer version. I didn't realize there was a second version of the show.
I don't recall any movies, but
there was definitely. I think it was like a TV because I remember it being like long. It wasn't like a sitcom episode. I remember there being like one that I taped off TV that was like at least an hour long. And I wonder if that's what I'm thinking of. But I'm sure Munsters super fans can tell me. If I remember correctly, they don't stay in their castle. They move to.
Like a normal neighborhood or something, right?
There's like a fire at the start. And they have to escape. There's like a classic Frankenstein style lynch mob coming up to and they have to escape through the fireplace. And then like I remember they do like some community stuff in it. Like I remember like them trying to like get involved in the community and like be part of like social programs and stuff.
It's
like,
very Addams Family that way. Yeah.
But that was the main Munsters thing I ever saw, was that. It was like one thing. Maybe it was just a big long pilot for like a new show or something. I don't know. So there was very nearly a new show. There was a pilot for a new version of Munsters like 5 years ago that never went anywhere. It got canned and didn't go ahead. But
I mean, it's such a fun premise using the classic horror monsters that I think, any new version would work. It's a shame that, it's probably not going to be good. But I know you don't like Rob Zombie. I really haven't seen that many of his movies, but I don't really enjoy the ones that I have seen. But I might still give it a chance if the trailer shows something I might like, just because I do like the premise of the Munsters.
Which ones did you see? I'm curious.
I saw House of a Thousand Corpses, and I'm pretty sure I watched The Devil's Rejects.
Okay, I don't
remember anything about it.
I haven't seen House of a Thousand Corpses. I saw Devil's Rejects, and I've seen, of course, his Halloween bastardizations, and unfortunately also 31, which we did on streams, which was rough. It was a rough time. But yeah, so Rob Zombie's doing a Munsters movie. There you go. Okay. So there's a bunch of they're fairly big projects, but there's a bunch of small, quick things for big projects. So we have a release date for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles CG movie reboot, which is coming from Nickelodeon and Point Grey Pictures. It's got a release date now of the 11th of August 2023. So we're getting 2023 release dates penciled in now. So let that sink in. But there's no other details. But I actually really liked the CG movie they did around 2007. It was a pretty solid, modern take on the Turtles. Obviously, before they did the Michael Bay produced atrocities that.
Did you see those?
I saw like half the first and turned it off. I couldn't do it. I couldn't make it through it. Despite growing up being a Turtles fan, I couldn't make it through that movie. I was just horrified by the big crappy CG mess that the characters were. But the CG movie I thought was decent. There's a good Raphael Leonardo fight in that movie, and April, of course, was voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar, who you may know from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But so I am down with a potential CG Turtles franchise if they let this one stick. It's a bit more faithful to what the Turtles look like for a start would be nice.
Whatever.
What? Wait, is this disdain for Ninja Turtles, or is this just disdain because I got a Buffy reference in the middle of that?
Actually, it's neither of those.
Oh, is it?
It's that it just reminds me of like the Sonic the Hedgehog thing, where it's just like, that's not my Sonic. And so they had to make a whole new movie to appease people who never even went and saw the film anyway. So dumb. If they want to change the image of the Ninja Turtles, whatever, fine.
Hold on. This is like two different arguments here. The problem, because fundamentally I agree that the studio backed down and sort of like chickened out because of the reaction. Although I suspect the director always hated it and was looking for an excuse. And this was like the reaction was they finally gave him the ammunition to go to the studio and say, no, give me money to change this. But them backing down is definitely something I agree is a problem. However, hoping that what they choose in the first place is a good design, there's nothing wrong with that. And despite all the problems I have with how it happened, there is no denying that the newer version of Sonic, after they redid it, looked better than the first version in that first trailer.
He looked fine. He looked like a different
creepy.
version of Sonic, but
It
whatever.
looked like he was going to sneak into your kid's room in the middle of the night and kidnap them.
Whatever. It looked like a kid's movie.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want my Ninja Turtles to be 8 foot tall and like the Hulk.
They're turtles. They're going to be big.
They're a bit big, but they're still meant to be ninjas.
Yeah.
They're not meant to have like T-Rex style footsteps as they're walking around.
Have you ever seen a turtle? They don't have tiny shells.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying. Fine. Look, we're talking about Teenage Mutant Turtles. It's okay for them not to be scientifically accurate if that's what the design calls for. Okay. Look, see, you're making me out to be this weird nerd now who's arguing for proper turtles. You're
the
like
one who said that.
You're making me look like a right dweeb. I don't appreciate this. August 11th, 2023. There you go. That's the news.
Pencil it in now.
We also officially have Michael B. Jordan directing Creed 3, and we have in talks the potential the villain. Is villain the right word in the Rocky movie? But the rival, the opponent, yes, is looking to be Jonathan Majors. He's in talks to sign for this. You may know him from Lovecraft Country, and he was very good in Lovecraft Country, so this is actually a very good get, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, neat.
Is he? He's not related to Clubber Lang, is he?
I certainly hope not. Certainly hope not.
Although I really enjoyed what they did with the Drago storyline in the second Creed, but if they make him related to Clubber Lang, I'm going to be like, I don't know, man. It's kind of stretching it now.
I don't think there's any information exactly in who the character would be, but I there's nothing. I feel like if that was the direction, they would have probably said something.
They would have said something.
Yeah.
Okay.
That said, though, I will also be disappointed if they try and make this another legacy descendant of someone. Like, it worked for Ivan Drago because Ivan Drago was responsible for, Apollo Creed's death. But yeah.
I mean, it's also glossing over the big news here is that Michael B. Jordan's directing a movie.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
And will that be a good thing? Will that be a bad thing? I don't know. I've never seen him direct.
I mean, all the directors that we've underestimated, made like Get Out and A Quiet Place. So who knows?
That's true. Jim from The Office made A Quiet Place. I feel like that's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
And likewise,
Jordan Peele.
I didn't really know Jordan Peele, so I wasn't surprised. He was just like a new director named me. But
yeah, he was just the guy who did the funny sketches.
Yeah. So I didn't really have any doubts because it was just a new name. But yeah. So hey, neat.
And Stallone's not in this one, right?
No, Stallone's done. So this is the torch, the baton has officially been passed.
Who's the director for Creed 2? Because he was quite good, I thought.
I have no idea off the top of my head, but it wasn't Coogler.
That's all right. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't get him back.
It wasn't as good as the first one. It was nowhere near as good as the first one, though. So it
was pretty good, though.
Yeah, it was a solid enough sequel, but it wasn't like the first one was special. The first one was like,
oh yeah, you don't have to tell me.
The first one was like, oh, this may actually be better than every Rocky movie. That's how good this is.
It's really good.
Whereas the second one's like, oh, I don't like it as much as the fun Rocky movies or the first one. Obviously, it kind of slots under the. Because I when it comes to Rocky, obviously the first one's just a genuinely good movie. I think 2 is a little bit weird because it just feels like a bit of a repeat and not that entertaining.
No, the fight's a repeat.
Yeah, but 3 and 4, well, not necessarily great movies, are entertaining movies.
Yeah, but they do solve the Cold War, which is pretty great.
If I can change, you can change. Everybody can change. That's not my Stallone. I don't have a Stallone voice. I just wanted to do a voice. Okay.
It's a horrible Stallone.
Shut up. Tom Cruise is pissed. Do you have any ideas why Tom Cruise is very upset right now?
Because everyone keeps getting sick on the set of the Mission Impossible movie.
That's exactly it. Production on Mission Impossible 7 has shut down temporarily due to another positive test. And Tom Cruise is livid because he wants to be running from things in danger and almost dying on a daily basis, and he's not getting to do it for another week or something
This is
like that.
probably delaying his launch to space to meet Xenu. So, yeah, he has every right to be pissed.
So, there you go. Yeah, they should stop him for 14 days. So Tom Cruise is not happy, man. This is as upset as he's been since Katie Holmes dumped him. So, I say dumped, broke free from her Scientology cage and got to the authorities. Basically, I imagine her breaking out of the Tom Cruise mansion like the start of The Invisible Man, like just sort of sneaking out, climbing over the wall, running for it.
Tom Cruise running after the car and catching up.
I catch you. Oh dear. All right, next up, a couple of Matrix 4 casting tidbits. Christina Ricci has been added to the cast of the fourth Matrix film, and whatever it may be titled. It is premiering in December. It's actually right before Christmas. So our Christmas movie on the Ace is going to be Matrix 4. That's what we're going to be doing.
Woo.
I don't know what day it works out to be in terms of, you know, when our recording day versus Christmas versus this release day falls, but this will be right on or just right after Christmas we do that. So look forward. So Christina Ricci.
What a great gift.
Yeah. Who has worked with the Wachowskis before on Speed Racer. So I guess Christina's back for more. And then the other bit of casting is that Donnie Yen has also joined. Oh, sorry, no. This is a Freudian slip. Donnie Yen has not joined The Matrix 4. Donnie Yen has joined John Wick 4. You can see where I've made a mistake here and assumed it was the same movie. No, the other Keanu Reeves' fourth film that's coming out.
Right.
So, there you go. He's going to play an old friend of John Wick.
Well, that's cool. He's a great fighter, and those movies have great fights.
Yes. So, there you go. Big couple of tidbits of casting. Indiana Jones 5 has begun shooting. That's it. That's the update. There's even some set photos leaking out now.
Yeah, right. It's all CGI. I don't believe it.
Well, it's funny you say that. One of the set photos that leaked is that some young person was wearing like a weird mocap face mask thing, clearly implying there's going to be a young, flashback, a young indie flashback or something.
Oh, is he going to look like River Phoenix though?
No, I think they're going to try and make him look like Indy did in like Raiders. I assume they're going to try and make it look like 80s Harrison Ford,
like young Harrison, not that young.
Not young
River
Indiana
Phoenix.
Jones, more, yeah, more like Terminator, Dark Fate with Sarah Connor kind of thing, like going back to what they look like in their actual prime, when you believed they could be globetrotting adventurers, not now where he's like an 85-year-old man or whatever he is, and he's like, I don't know, I feel like Harrison Ford shows up on set, he's like, we're doing I can't think of another name beginning with an I. I want to joke that he gets the name wrong, but I can't think of another one. Idris. I'm doing another Idris Jones film here.
An Illinois Jones.
Illinois Jones.
Just a different state.
I didn't even get that joke until you said it, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I just thought Illinois
American fool.
I was thinking Illinois is a weird choice, but I'll go with it. And I was like, it's a different state. I get it.
Iowa Jones.
Iowa Jones. There you go. Hey, that begins with I as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does Illinois, I suppose. Actually, I think.
So does Idaho.
Idaho Jones. There you go. Why is there so many states beginning with I? There's only 50 of them, and there's like 4 beginning with I.
I don't know. I wasn't here for it.
Where's the Z state? Where's the state beginning with Z? There's none.
There's no Z in the American alphabet.
Yeah. They should rename Kentucky as Zentucky, just to have one.
Ooh, it sounds nice.
Yeah, Zen. We are a peaceful state. We are Zentucky.
It's all like yoga gurus there.
Yes. That is Zentucky. Now, I think, much like myself, maybe even more so than myself, you're quite fond of Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World.
It's in my top 5 of all time.
Well, 20th century, and it's killing me not to say Fox at the end of that.
20th century Disney.
20th century is looking ahead to the high seas. Sources are telling Deadline that they're developing a new Master and Commander film with a Monster Calls writer, Patrick Ness.
Okay. But is it going to have Russell Crowe?
Of the Loch Ness Nessies.
Is it going to be a Peter Weir film? Peter Weir joint.
Peter Weir's the big sell, I think, for a Master and Commander film, because I am fond of the films of Peter Weir.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite Peter Weir film.
When was the last time you watched it? Because
it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I remember waiting to look for a Blu-ray to watch it again because it was taking a while.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
I bought that one and I bought 2001 at the same time. My first Blu-rays. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, I've just made the jump to 4K recently, and I've been rediscovering films all over again.
You should get Master and Commander in 4K. I bet it's glorious.
I've been buying them on iTunes, but there was a 4K remaster of Total Recall, and I didn't watch the whole movie, but I was just sort of looking at some scenes and being like, it's so beautiful. Arnold, like, this looks like it was like the hairstyles aside, this looks like it was shot like 2 days ago. Like, movies aren't supposed to look this good. What's so funny is the older movies are looking better and benefiting from 4K more than newer films because the CG, like, they do like a 2K digital intermediate for because all the CG would take too much time and cost too much to render at 4K. So older movies are actually benefiting more because they're just scanning the film at 4K. I'm getting into technical stuff. I really don't care, but it basically means that when I put on my Italian zombie movie Demons in 4K, I'm like, holy shit, this is a grotty little Italian zombie movie that was made for almost no money. Why does it look so beautiful? This is weird. Low budget movies look like shit now. They used to look amazing. People just shit on film. Anyway, so Master Commander with the writer from A Monster Calls. So
I'm a fan. I'm excited.
Yeah.
The original I love Master and Commander, so if they bring back Russell Crowe as Captain Jack Aubrey, I mean, that would be very exciting. There's a lot of books. The Patrick O'Brien series. Well, I'd say there's I think 16 books or something like that. Around there, anyway. So there's lots of stories to tell. And Master Commander is not the first one. It was like...
Well, the original was part of a book series. The idea was always to adapt other books in the series at the time, but they never went forward for whatever reason. Sources are saying this film is likely based on the first book in the series, which shows a young Aubrey as he is... Because I read that before I read the rest of it and went, but isn't that just remaking the movie then? But no, apparently the first movie wasn't the first book. It was elsewhere. Anyway, so yeah, young Aubrey as he is given his first command. So this explains why I don't need Russell Crowe, right?
Yeah.
Because Russell Crowe is looking much older now, not younger. Not that I'm complaining, because I love fat Russell Crowe from Nice Guys. He's the best Russell Crowe.
After Captain Jack Aubrey.
Sure, okay, I'll give you it. So he's given his first command and explores his friendship with his naval surgeon Stephen Maturin, who was originally played by Bettany. Begins. Since this would be set in the early days of Aubrey, it's also likely they would have new talent to play the character. Of course they would. Like even if they set it right after the first one, they'd probably need new cast members.
Irishman it.
I hope not. I hope not. I feel like you're going to get like young 20-somethings or some, for this.
Please don't be Chris Pratt.
I don't think it's going to be Chris Pratt. Also, they're meant to be British. I don't see Chris Pratt doing a British accent.
Well, I mean, Russell Crowe's Australian.
Yeah, but Australians, at least, well, Russell Crowe could do an okay British accent.
Yeah.
Well, an English accent, at least. There is no such thing as the British accent. I just want to make that clear. I'm Scottish. I have a Scottish accent. Go away, everyone. All right. Next up, Cruella is getting a sequel. That's it.
Fast.
That's the new. Yeah, they've got the writer on board. Director Craig Gillespie did the first one, and writer Tony McNamara are looking like they're going to team up again for this. So yep, they're doing Cruella 2. I've not seen it. I know you have seen it. The general gist I've got, beyond just the comparisons to Joker and all the other things, is that because she's the main character, they can't just have her be evil and kill dogs now. There has to be like some level of sympathy. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I think they do a pretty good job with it.
Yes. But some people are just meant to be just proper villains, like out hateful villains that you just hate.
Sure.
Like Joker.
And I think in the animated movie, she definitely is a hateable character.
Yes.
But this is like taking that character and making a new story out of her while, acknowledging the story that already exists.
It's kind of becoming the new prequel thing I hate, is this obsession with taking popular villains and doing stories about them. But because we're making a story about a popular villain, there has to be some empathy in it. And it's making... I mean, I don't really have much of a strong opinion on Cruella, but with Joker, I'm like, no, I don't want to feel any sympathy or empathy for Joker. He is a force of nature who is awful and evil. Like, no.
They didn't really do a very good job with that movie anyway for making me feel empathy.
Yeah, but like
everyone was just kind of a cartoon.
Yes, but you're supposed to understand why he becomes the way he is, and I don't want to understand that. He's Joker. Anyway,
yeah.
And Cruella's just an evil bitch who wants to kill dogs. Okay, she wants to kill dogs.
I actually enjoyed Cruella. I thought the opening made me a little bit nervous, but because it was doing the Han Solo stuff, which is a movie I also enjoyed, honestly.
Oh, did someone give her name? Is she not called Cruella yet? And then someone names her Cruella?
Her name is Estella, but every now and then her cruel side comes out and she becomes Cruella.
I was just joking. I didn't realize that that was actually a thing, and they literally explained why she was called Cruella. That's really funny to me. This movie's garbage. I hate it.
It's actually not garbage. It's most of the movie is quite good, and in order to make her sympathetic, they have a villain who's worse.
Oh yeah, typical. But I don't know. Prequel trash. We have to over-explain everything to justify having a movie.
Okay, so don't watch it. The movie was fine, and it definitely sets up sequels, and I'll go see it because I enjoyed it.
I'm happy. I'm not trying to belittle your enjoyment. I'm just I don't like the sequel or the prequelization of things typically. The cash grabs, nothing but a single cash grab. Okay, there's a Disney factory and they're just pumping out these things. They're pumping out Hocus Pocus 2. They're pumping out Turner
also
and
excited
Hooch,
for that.
the TV show. They're pumping out all sorts of things. Everything comes back. Everything has sequels and prequels.
Yeah, okay, so the Turner and Hooch is obviously for a new audience, because who the hell is a super fan of Turner and Hooch? I can't even say it.
Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, I can't say it. You've made me so mad.
All right, Quiet Place is getting a spin-off movie because a Quiet Place movie has been dated for the 31st of March 2023. And this is going to be written and directed by Jeff Nichols, which is interesting. Okay. So this is
sitcom guy.
This is not Krasinski. No. Jeff Nichols is. I'm going to double check, but I do recognize the name. He's directed other movies.
Okay.
Let me just double check exactly what he's done. Yeah, he's done some good stuff. He did Mud, which I thought was fantastic. He did Midnight Special, which was pretty great. He did Take Shelter, which I thought had a good premise, but I wasn't in love with the movie by the end, so that was maybe the weaker things. But he's done a couple of great movies.
I hate that movie's ending. I thought the movie that Take Shelter, side note, tangent, whatever.
Yes.
I thought Take Shelter was amazing until the last 10 minutes of the movie, where the twist or ending or whatever was so bad that it made me not like the rest of the film, because it was pointless. The rest of the film was pointless then.
Sure.
It wasn't about mental illness. It was just garbage. It was a garbage movie.
I love that you feel more strongly about this than I do. But Mud is special. Mud is a fantastic film.
Mud is fine. I've seen that one.
Mud impressed me. I did not expect that much from Mud.
Good child actors.
And I was gobsmacked by how much I liked it. And then Midnight Special I thought was really good too.
Didn't see it. Michael Shannon. Good though.
Michael Shannon is good. It's a better Superman movie than we've had in the last 20 years. I'll say that. There's even reference to Superman. which is funny because Shannon had already been Zod by that point, so there was jokes to be made. But yes, so this is not Quiet Place 3. That's the important thing. But it's based on an idea that John Krasinski had for a spin-off. So the Quiet Place franchise is real, because now we're going to have a spin-off. There might be a 3 later as well, because, you know, maybe I mean, I've not seen 2 yet, admittedly. For all I know, everything ends at the end of 2, and there's no 3 possible, but I've not seen 2.
Well, I mean, Planet of the Apes 2 had an everything ends ending, and we got more sequels.
True, very true. So we're getting a spin-off. It's very secretive though. They're not telling us what it is. It's just they're making it clear it's not a third film. It's a spin-off that Jeff Nichols is writing and directing. Jeff Nichols does make that intriguing. And Quiet Place, I thought, was a really strong concept, and I liked most of the film. I thought there was a couple of elements of the ending that I wasn't super hot on. So I'm intrigued to see how I feel about 2 when we get around to it on streams, and I'm intrigued by this spin-off.
Heard it's very white-knuckled experience.
I think there's potential for this spin-off to be better than the main 2 films. I think the potential's there for it, just because of the director involved. But we'll see. So cool.
Cool.
Love and Thunder. Thor: Love and Thunder. I skipped a word and just had to like finish and go back. Thor: Love and Thunder has wrapped filming. That's it. That's the news.
I bet Taika's partying real good.
Oh yeah, he's making out with all sorts of actresses and singers to his heart's content.
It's a good rap party.
But yes, there you go. That's it.
That's exciting though. I love Ragnarok.
Well, next up, John Boyega has exited a film called Rebel Ridge. He exited it mid-shoot and cited family reasons. Very weird for an actor to just pull out of a movie halfway through shooting. They're looking for a replacement. This is a Netflix movie. Maybe he just realised how bad it was halfway through and decided to run. But I do hope that, you know, when it's just like ominous family reasons and he just drops it and leaves immediately, that would suggest that, you know, maybe someone has passed away that is close to him or something like that. That's the first thing my mind went to. So hopefully it's nothing serious like that. But
I mean, to leave a movie.
It felt notable enough to me, even though I don't really know much about this movie. But, you know, it felt notable that he just left halfway through. It's a Jeremy Saulnier film. The plot's been kept fairly secretive, but it's going to explore systemic American injustice in the context of action, suspense, and black humor. So, there you go. It was meant to start shooting last April, but obviously got pushed a year for obvious reasons. The pandemic. So, next up. Oh, here's a story. 47 Meters Down production company, T-Shop Productions, what a name, has signed writer-director Natasha Kermani to adapt and direct Joe Hill's short story Abraham's Boys as a feature film. Do you know who Joe Hill is when I say that?
No.
Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, who is a prolific writer of comics and novels himself. And because Stephen thought it'd be funny to name his son Joe, because then his name would be Joe King. And
I get it.
He's got a dark
he was
sense
on
of humor.
He was on a lot of cocaine.
At that time, definitely, yes. So this is an action horror story. It's a follow-up, loosely to Dracula. It's testing the relationship Stoker formed in the original novel. The plot follows Max and Rudy Van Helsing, who know nothing of their father, Abraham's past, and cannot understand his overprotective attitude and strange behaviour. To make matters worse, Abraham is becoming increasingly more unhinged, paranoid, and violent. So this is a kind of a spin-off, sort of fan-fiction-y Dracula story that's been adapted into a movie. Joe Hill's, work being the basis for it is the interesting part, I think.
Do you enjoy his work?
I've enjoyed some of his work. He's done a couple of horror comics at DC in the last year or two that I've enjoyed. I've heard Lock and Key's very good. The TV show didn't grab me the first episode, but I've heard the comic book is very good. It's been on my to-read list for a long time. So
okay.
I think Tim's read a lot of his novels as well, and he seems to like them. So Yeah, okay.
Why does he go by Joe Hill and not Joe King?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't want the stupid name to be his pen name. He didn't want everyone constant. Or maybe he just didn't want to have like the, that's Stephen King's sons. So we need to give him credit. Maybe he wanted to like forge his own path. So he, at least to
just
begin
like
with. Creed. Sure. I think you could probably go with a lot of the Estevez family and Sheen I don't remember which name is first, but the Sheen, Estevez, Coppola, like lineage. There's like a whole web there, which actually connects to Nicolas Cage as well, if I remember right. There's a whole.
The only one I care about is Joe Estevez from the movie Werewolf.
This is absolutely fascinating. Okay. Next up, Damien Chazelle's 1920s Hollywood set film Babylon, not Babylon 5, just Babylon, has rounded out its cast with Max Minghella, Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Nice.
And Samara Weaving, along with some names that I don't really know. Rory Scovel, Lucas Haas, Eric Roberts, and PJ Byrne. Do you know what? I know PJ Byrne because he's popped up with enough TV shows, and he was literally just in an episode of Them from Amazon that I watched, and I checked his name because I was like, okay, you know what? I've seen this guy in like 5 shows now. I need to start learning this guy's name so I can talk about who this guy is. So I do recognize that name. And they're joining the previously announced cast of Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, and some others. So yes, this is the La La Land director doing another big Hollywoody movie, but it is rated R, which is maybe a little different. It's set to hit theaters on Christmas Day next year, 2022.
Oh, she's related to Hugo Weaving. She's the niece of Hugo Weaving.
Do you know, I did not know she was related to him, but I know
I had to check because of the name.
Have you not seen her in anything? Because she's been in a lot of stuff.
I know she's in Ready or Not, but I don't know if I've seen her in anything.
She's in Ready or Not. She's in the Babysitter movies. She had a small role in 3 Billboards, if I remember right.
Oh, I did see that. I didn't like that movie.
And she's been in a bunch. She's one of those actors who's starting to like really just pop up everywhere.
Yeah.
So cool. I enjoyed First Man, and I enjoy Whiplash as a drama, although I don't think I love it as much as, say, Connor, who like worships that movie like it's the second coming. But
I think it's a pretty good movie. I think a lot of people have I don't want to say relatable stories, but like, you know, stories about coaches or whoever, teachers, people who push them too far, parents, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah. You, for example, yeah.
Yeah.
I meant you push me too hard, not that you pushed too hard by someone. Unless I'm pushing you too hard, which is possible.
No.
No. Okay.
I'm in control.
Oh, okay. Don't be mad.
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw a cymbal or chair at me, please. But La La Land is not for me. I'm not a musical guy, so I hope that's being...
I just didn't think it was very good. I mean, I wanted to like it, but...
Oh, hot take. I like this. You actually like musicals, you didn't like La La Land.
Not really.
That's a spicy. Me saying I hated La La Land is not, like, no one cares.
I actually didn't think the music was very good. Or like the people singing it were very good. Or, I mean, the story was fine, but not great.
This is hot take Tara right now. I love this. Hot take Tara.
I'm just glad that Moonlight won.
After a moment of suspense where you thought it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, neat. So as long as it's not a musical, I will be somewhat interested in this. Where should we go next? Let's skip that. That's not interesting.
I agree.
Let's skip that. There's a bunch of small things from last week that I'm just sort of throwing out the window here. Here we go. Let's mention this. So Asa Butterfield, otherwise known as Ender. From Futurama. No, that's Bender. He's from Ender's Game.
There is a Bender's Game. There's a Bender's Game movie.
Bender's Game sounds like the erotic version of Ender's Game.
I'm sure Bender would be very happy with that.
Oh, we probably would. But Asa Butterfield, Lola Evans from The 100 and Eddie Marsan from Sherlock Holmes. Although I know him from some other... he's in The World's End and he was in Tyrannosaurus. He's a British actor. They're leading the cast of a new horror thriller, which just wrapped its shooting. It's always interesting when they announce the cast when they're done shooting. Like, they're able to keep it a secret until they're done. But it's called Cursor. But I have to tell you how it's written down here, because it's not just the word cursor. It's in all caps, but instead of the E, it's the greater than symbol.
Okay.
So naturally, I think a lot of us are going to roll our eyes, but it tells you this is going to be somewhat computer based, right? It tells you there's going to be a computer theme to this, because it's whatever.
And there's a curse.
There might be, yeah. In fact, it just casually mentions here that it also stars Robert Englund. Hey, don't bury the lead.
Yeah. Just a little sprinkle of Freddy
Krueger, yeah. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. So the premise of this: in pursuit of an unclaimed $125,000 prize. That's it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love $125,000. It would be a great boon to my mood. But it doesn't seem big enough.
I check my phone every day just in case I've won the California vaccine lottery.
Sure, but like, it doesn't seem big enough for like a big prize now. In terms of like a movie premise. I'm getting Austin Powers. I'm getting Austin Powers and Dr. Evil and Austin Powers with the $1 million, and everyone just sort of goes, million.
If you're poor, it's a lot of money.
Oh sure, that's it. $125,000 would be fantastic to me, right? $1 million, even more so, and $1 billion, of course, would be just filthy. It'd be like, oh. I'll need to start giving it to charity if you give me $1 billion. I can't just justify keeping that to myself.
I could.
Tara, if I get $1 billion, so one of the charities will be Tara. Okay, I'll just put Tara's fund.
All right, it'll be my Disneyland fund.
Tara, I'll give Tara. I'll just pay you for being on podcasts. That's what I'll do.
Finally.
How does $5,000 a podcast grab you? Does that sound good?
Yeah, we could do all sorts of shows then.
I just quit the job just to do podcasts. Anyway, so $125,000 prize. A broke college dropout. That's it. Okay, so they're very poor. Decides to play an obscure 1980s survival computer game, but the game curses her, and she's faced with dangerous choices and reality warping challenges. After a series of unexpectedly terrifying moments, she realizes she's no longer playing for the money, but for her life. This sounds super high concept. This sounds like she starts playing like a sort of multiple choice game, and it starts to affect the real world. That's what I'm getting from that descriptor.
Yeah, very Twilight Zone. Also kind of Tron.
Yeah, I'm saying like this feels like a very high concept with maybe a lot of, maybe not visual effects per se, but I feel like reality is going to change around her. So like, I don't know. It's a bit high concept for a horror movie for my tastes, but doesn't necessarily mean it won't
Not
be
enough
good.
slasher in it for you.
I
Freddy
think horror.
Krueger's in it. He might show up. Maybe it is a Freddy Krueger sequel. He's in the video games now.
He's evolved. No one dreams anymore. Everyone's too depressed to dream. So he's invaded the video games.
Yep.
You open your loot box and out pops Freddy Krueger. Oh dear. All right. Next up, skippity skip. Here we go. Anya Taylor-Joy has joined a new film, and she's going to star alongside Ralph Fiennes in The Menu.
Ralph. Ray Fiennes. We've talked about this.
But they spell Ralph, okay? It's R-A-L-P-H. Ray Fiennes. All right, fine. Ray.
Rhymes with safe signs.
All right. So the film is a darkly comedic psychological thriller set in the world of eccentric culinary culture, centering on a young couple who visit an exclusive restaurant on a remote island where an acclaimed chef has prepared a lavish tasting menu. That's it. That's the premise. It sounds like there's going to be
people.
Yeah, it sounds like there's going to have to be something sinister that happens like when they're there.
Yeah.
I'm getting like
It's
weird
people.
Fantasy Island vibes, but it's all based around food. The restaurant.
Or like the scene in that's always haunted me from the second Indiana Jones. They eat like spiders and monkey brains.
Ah. Speaking of stuff going to 4K, that's just hit 4K as the Indiana Jones movies.
I don't want to watch the monkey brain scene.
Okay, no one's forcing you. You're good.
I'm looking more forward to the Indiana Jones game than I am the next movie.
Yeah, the last movie was so bad, and like we said earlier, Harrison Ford. And this is not me dissing Harrison Ford. I'm just saying that there's a point where you can't be the action adventure hero anymore, where it's kind of silly. So we'll see. The game might be fun. Yeah, I mean, the problem with the game is that I've played like 4 Uncharted games. I've played multiple Tomb Raiders. Like, what's it going to do to separate it? Beyond just having the music.
Yeah. Have you ever played an Indiana Jones game?
I haven't, no.
Fate of Atlantis is pretty good. It's a point and click adventure, but it's really good.
Yeah, they're all really, really old, so I've not played them.
I bet it holds up.
I'm sure they remastered it so you could play it in modern PCs.
That'd be fun.
Because it wasn't so much that I wasn't around.
Pretty sure I have it memorized still.
Yeah, it wasn't so much that I wasn't around when it came out. It was more that like I didn't have a PC that could play games in my childhood. I only had consoles, so those games never.
All I had was a PC.
Yeah, those
and a Game Boy.
types of games eluded me greatly. So, plus I never actually even knew about Indiana Jones really till I was like 18. So.
Wow.
It also oddly eluded me until I actually blind bought the DVD box set because I'd heard they were supposed to be good. So I bought. It was before Crystal Skull, so it was just a trilogy. But I bought the trilogy to watch, right at the end of high school, to see them. And I'm happy to say I enjoyed them, particularly the first one. But there we go. Next up, here's a cheery topic. So 4 years after New York Times reporters Megan Toey and Jodie Cantor broke the Weinstein sex scandal report, Hollywood's getting ready to tell the story, and it's a movie called She Said. And the news today, not about the time of recording, but the news when this came out in the last few days, is that Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan are in negotiations to be cast as these two ladies. Obviously, Carey Mulligan gets a lot of praise and is very good. I want to shout out Zoe Kazan, though, because I think she's been fantastic in everything I've seen her in, and she's not like someone who gets praised in the same way as someone like Carey Mulligan does.
I know I've seen her in a thing.
Well, The Big Short, or not The Big Short, so The Big Sick. She's in the big. She's the girlfriend in that.
Okay.
And she's fantastic in that. I really liked her in a small horror movie called Monster a few years ago. I thought she was great in that. She was good in her small role in The Deuce. She's popped. It's one of these actors who have popped up in a lot of things, and she's been really good when she. Because Carey Mulligan, I feel like gets the big drama. She gets Promising Young Woman. She gets. I remember seeing her in like that.
Gatsby.
What was that movie she did when she was still playing teenagers? And she had it was like a romantic affair she had with an older guy. An Education, I want to say it was called. I remember seeing that, and she's been in a lot of movies that got award cred and so on and so on. So cool, it's a good pairing. I mean, this is going to be a journalist drama about breaking the story. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
We've reached the point in the news where Tara's ready to.
I've yawned so many times.
Ready to call it. Okay, I've skipped a few stories that weren't as interesting. Blake Lively. Do you like Blake Lively?
I guess I'm neutral. I don't really know anything. Like, I don't know her movies or TV shows. I know of them, but I don't really watch them.
I enjoyed The Shallows for the silly shark movie. It was.
I did see that. Yeah, and that was pretty good.
It was silly, but I had fun with it. So Netflix is making the screen rights deal for We Used to Live Here, psychological thriller novella by Marcus Kleber. Probably butchering that name. So Blake Lively's attached to star in producing this with Kate Vorhoff. through Lively's B for Effort banner. B for Effort. Oh, I get it, like a grade. Okay. So wouldn't E for Effort make more sense still though? I don't.
We didn't quite make the A.
Didn't quite make the A. Okay, so we're good, but we're not great. Is what she's saying.
B movie. Yeah.
All right. So this was published as part of Reddit's No Sleep feature. The novella has a premise about returning to your old childhood home only to realize it's not quite what you remember. A homeowner gets a knock at her door while her partner is at work. It's a husband and wife and kids. They are peculiar. And the man says he once lived in the house and he wanted to take a look around. The homeowner's just getting used to the old house herself, and things get progressively weirder as a snowstorm strands the visitors as they just won't leave. The homeowner can't get rid of them and winds up sorry she ever opened the door as the events progress.
Yeah, that's always a mistake. They're always just going to judge the changes you made, so
yes.
don't ever do it.
Yes.
Like, oh, look, you decided to put the dining room table there, huh? Okay.
Do you know the fact
I would do
is,
it differently.
I feel like if it was just adults, or especially if it was just a man, no woman in her right mind would let them in. But I think the kids makes you think, oh, it's a family with children. Like, they're not dangerous.
They just want to see where their parents grew up or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got children. It makes you think they're safe. No, people with kids can be monsters too. Like, don't trust them because they've got kids. Right? That's not. Just because they don't know how to use contraception does not make them trustworthy. Right?
You think all children are unplanned?
The ones who end up being serial killers, or the ones who have parents who are serial killers. Yes.
Okay.
They're not family planning. They're not talking about like their cycles and trying to like get knocked up.
Mm-hmm.
They're having like a weird, passionate like night after, you know, in a pool of blood after they've killed some poor hitchhiker or something.
God, I hate this conversation.
It sounds alright. I mean, it's a Netflix movie, so I'm expecting it to be dull, but I like the premise. Thoughts on the premise? No? Nothing? No? Okay.
I mean, yeah, it sounds interesting. And I don't hate Blake Lively.
Cool. Alright.
Cool.
I'll skip a thing. One, I'll just quickly throw this in. I know you won't have an opinion on this, but Robbie and Stephen Amell are expanding the Code 8 universe. A Code 8 Part 2 is in the works with Jeff Chan returning to direct.
Isn't that wasn't Code 8 a JMS thing? Oh no, that was Sense8.
That was Sense8. Yeah. Yeah, Code 8 was a movie which... Did we review that? Was that an S thing?
Yes, we did.
That's how bland
really
it was. Yeah, that's how bland it was, is that we couldn't even remember if we'd reviewed it.
It had the guys from the TV show in it, who were in the Arrow show.
You mean the names that I just read out? Robbie and Stephen Amell? Well, Stephen Amell is the one.
Sure. I don't know. I don't watch these shows. Are
Robbie,
they known for anything else?
Well, I think Robbie Amell's recently been in an Amazon show called Upload, I think that's called. Stephen Amell's like doing a new drama. He's been in a couple of movies. In fact, to bring this back around to one of the first things we've talked about, he played Casey Jones in the Turtles CG, or the Michael Bay Turtles movies.
That's right.
The Bay Turtles. So, there you go. I've got nothing to add, but the first one was really
That's
bland.
the guy with the hockey stick.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. My brother was a Turtles fan. Yep. I don't want to watch this movie. Code 8 was bad.
We may have to when it comes out, but I don't want to watch it either.
No. Okay. Whatever. Maybe I'll be sick that week.
Then the show just like waits for you to come back. There's no like I get a fill-in. There's no replacements.
What if I call someone?
There's no replacements. So who you gonna get to replace you?
One of the fans. It'll be a contest.
Hey, this is Tara's cousin. She's got a German accent. This is who's on the show this week.
Hey, how'd it go?
I love the science fiction movies, yeah. Oh dear. Alright, so last thing on the movie news is a teaser trailer of great interest to me because I love District 9. I love District 9. So District 9 was one of those movies where when I saw it in 2009, it wowed me, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. Like this like, I love the aesthetic, I love how it looks, I love everything about it. And Neil Blomkamp went on to make two very flawed,
terrible movies.
I wouldn't say terrible. I would say he went on to make two very flawed films that have a lot of the aesthetic that I still like, and a lot of things that I like about them, but they're not good movies like District 9 was.
They're terrible.
And he's been gone for a while, and he's coming back with a horror movie, although there's still a tech side to this from the teaser trailer here. So this is called Demonic, and he's doing a horror, so he's not doing a straight sci-fi this time. What did you think of this teaser trailer?
It looked interesting. Lots of people bending in the wrong directions, and some, glyphs of satanic origins.
Mm-hmm.
Science fiction meets horror. I'll take it.
The horror stuff was kind of the like, it doesn't look bad, but it's just kind of like, okay, generic horror stuff that I've seen a million times. The part that was more interesting was the weird, like, I don't know if you want to call it virtual reality.
Yeah,
but
it's like a VR experience or Matrix-like experience.
Yeah, it was like she goes into a world, but like it's kind of like not perfect, so there's kind of like a glitchiness to, like, when she's walking around, there's like this little like shimmers and like little patches that kind of distort. And it's got an interesting look. That was the part that I was like, okay, what is this? It
definitely doesn't look like a Blomkamp film.
And it made me wonder, like, did someone like summon like a demon or something like in a virtual reality, and then it bleeds into the real world or something, or does the virtual reality let people see where the demon is or something? Like, like, what's the mechanic here? But I'm intrigued.
Yeah, me too.
But it's hard to gauge what the exact premise is.
It doesn't look like Blomkamp, but he's been absent for a long time.
He's been yeah. I was really disappointed because he was attached to doing a RoboCop sequel for such a long time, and I was game for Blomkamp RoboCop. He felt perfect for a RoboCop movie.
Was he also going to do an Alien movie?
Oh, that one really hurts. Yeah, he was going to do a sequel to Aliens and ignore the ones that came after. And it was like, yes, Blomkamp Aliens, that got canned. Blomkamp RoboCop, that got canned. So we're getting this low-budget horror movie instead, which honestly might be great. It might be exactly what we need. And it's coming out fairly soon as well. It's coming out on the 20th of August. What is interesting, though, is that it is a sci-fi horror film. So I'm going to have to make the choice before we get there if it belongs on Screams or belongs on Ace.
How about I watch it and then I'll decide? Sounds fair.
In order for whatever show it is to get to it quickly so the review can be out in a timely fashion, I don't think that's possible. I think that the choice has to be made beforehand.
Well, Tim's going to watch it anyway. If he ever comes back. He might be dead.
It's a horrible thing to say about Tim on his
he's been gone for so long.
paternity leave. The poor boy's adjusting, right? Give him time. All this slander, okay? I believe,
saying, like, people keep telling me he's around, but I don't see him. Maybe we should send some people.
There's evidence. I've been seeing photos. He's fine. Having the baby.
Oh, baby.
Yes. So I'm down. Although, regardless of where we do this, I do realize this probably gives us a good excuse to do the other Blomkamp movies on the Ace.
Gross.
In late summer.
There's only one good one. I don't want to watch Chappie again.
Chappie!
And Elysium was bad.
Maybe you'll find a new appreciation for them.
Okay.
We can't just watch movies that we know are good. It doesn't work
Why
like that.
Why
not? Because it's a review show.
Can't it be a review show of good movies?
We have to do. We did like Matrix Reloaded like a few weeks ago, and that was terrible. And it was a great discussion.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
We'll see.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us
tonight. That is the end of the movie news. Yes. What is important to say though is for you to like and subscribe. Very important on YouTube. Helps us a lot, especially since we've transitioned to the new channel now, and obviously we're starting out with much lower numbers, so please do hit the like button, comment on the videos, subscribe. All these things are really important for YouTube growth. But you can also support us financially over at patreon.com/MailFuzzTV for as little as $1 per month. So go do that and you get some bonuses for your trouble. Always try to think of new perks and bonuses, and there's the membership system on YouTube as well. I'm trying to think of something to add for that too, along with the emojis that you get. You can have Tara wearing sunglasses that you can put in the comments if you want.
Cool.
So, you know, all these things. Go do some of these or all these things. But that is the Male Fuzz Movie News. Thank you very much for joining us. It has been a pleasure. And we will see you next time. So keep watching cinema. And Matrix is a 9.5 out of 10.